What's up, guys? Welcome back. Hope you guys are having a really good weekend. I certainly have. Past few days, I just been going out, having some fun. I actually got to go hiking yesterday. That was pretty fun. Went downtown and got some dinner, and then this morning I went back downtown to go walk and go see some of the shops and things like that. Go by the bay, and I also got some ice cream, so that was fun. Yeah, tell me guys in the comments, how's your weekend going so far? 'Cause I'm curious what you guys have been up to. So anyway, I just figured I'd go on here and talk about a few things that's kind of been on my mind. One of them is kind of more simple, but the weather has been amazing lately, and that's why I want to be out here more, making more content. I was just out here. It was beautiful out. I mean, the clouds were absolutely stunning. Like, it looked like out of a picture or like a Disney film. It was that kind of like monumental clouds. Like, you ever look at clouds and you're like, man, wouldn't it be awesome to just fly through them, like touch them, like they look like cotton candy? I don't know, maybe that's just me. I'm sure a lot of people have felt that, but I mean, how many moments do you have that in your day when you just get to sit outside and just look around and be like, man, this is cool? Like, everyone's just so busy now, and fair enough, you gotta stay busy and you gotta keep working hard and making money. But I feel like sometimes people just don't have that creative ability in them. Like, they don't really think about that stuff. Like, oh, your head is in the clouds too much. I mean, we're talking about clouds here, right? But I feel like people don't have that childlike wonder anymore. And maybe that's just part of growing up, but I wish like that part of you should still have that part of you, if that makes sense. Like, I think people they get caught up in so much drama these days with like, oh, what's the latest opinion on Twitter, or what's this tragedy that they post on TikTok or Instagram or the news or whatever it is. Like, people are just so like entangled in, I guess, bullshit, if that makes sense. Like, irrelevant stuff that doesn't matter in the slightest to them. And they forget to actually live. They forget to actually sit down and have a conversation about random stuff that doesn't sound relevant, but actually it kind of is. People don't live, they don't sit down and actually have like real conversations. They just regurgitate whatever opinion they see on Twitter. People don't have the imagination, they don't have that childlike wonder anymore to actually go outside and explore. Like, yeah, sure, you want to go on vacation and do all those other things, but you got bills to pay. I mean, fair enough. If you're working your ass off and you're fulfilled, great. But just remember, there's a time and place for rest, and there's time and place for work. And I feel like this summer is a great way to get outside and explore, stimulate that childlike wonder within you. That's another thing too, like with the whole, I guess, going to the gym a lot, I've started to use my creativity a bit more. That's actually kind of what I like with traveling. I can go to more places around town or in other towns too. If I'm traveling out of town for the weekend, I can find new gyms, and then I can find different equipment that I'm not really used to. I'm like, what is this gizmo? What does this doohickey? What does it do? Exploring that childlike wonder is like, man, like, this is cool. Like, I can actually try something new. Maybe it hits the muscle at the perfect angle. Like, going down, you're like, ooh, that's perfect. I didn't have that at home. Stuff like that. And another thing with that too is I think people are so just caught up in, at least within the gym community per se, is just caught up in what has to be perfect all the time. What has to be perfect, what has to be regimented, what has to, you have to hit this muscle at the perfect, like, you gotta keep it basic, don't do anything wacky or crazy. It's hilarious because it almost sounds like you're just trying to be a robot. And, maybe you shouldn't be a robot. Maybe at times you should be a robot and you're just trying to get it done and get and dip. And that's cool. I feel the same way too, at times. But sometimes you have to stimulate that curiosity within you. I think that's lost a lot these days because, like they say, like curiosity killed the cat, but I don't think so. I think curiosity allows you to live more. I think it actually unlocks more life within you when you're curious. I mean, there's so many options out there. I could talk about anything about curiosity. People just don't have much imagination now, is what I'm trying to say. People are just so caught up in the grind, so caught up in frivolous bullshit that doesn't matter. People are so caught up in trying to make themselves look perfect, trying to make themselves look a certain way that they're not. People try to talk in a certain way that's not how they really talk. Especially like on Instagram, or I primarily use Instagram mostly. I don't really use TikTok that much, but I should, at least with posting more videos, because it sounds like you can get more traffic there, but I'm not too enlightened on that. But I guess what I'm saying here is you need to have a bit of wonder, a bit of whimsicalness in your daily life. Alright? Maybe it's not the best, maybe it's not like the most perfect. It's okay to be rough around the edges sometimes. Maybe you say things that sound weird when they come out. Oh, it's like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Who cares? Who cares? Just say it. Go with it. Have some conviction in yourself. Because that way, it may not sound perfect, but who cares? None of us are. Alright? It's okay to have a bit of rough edges. Alright? It's okay to not be totally PC all the time. It's totally acceptable to not be entirely optimal. Right? And I like to simplify things. I like to streamline things and make it simple like that. And for good reason. But at the same time, I love to have fun. I love to go that extra rep. Go that extra, man, this is going to make me tired tomorrow, but man, I love it. I love this. That's what you need, man. That's what you need. You need to have a bit of rough edges around you. Like when you're out here, you're not really going to care about what you look like. You're going to care about what you're doing. Are you having fun? Are you present? Are you learning a lot? Are you connecting with others? Or if you're alone, are you connecting with God or Creator, whoever you want to call it? Are you learning more about yourself? Are you connecting with, about here in the backyard, are you connecting with nature? Are you finding things that people just wouldn't wrap their heads around otherwise? They gotta think about these things, because most people just try to put up a front, say, hey, this is what I'm about, but behind themselves, or behind the shell the outer shell, is their inner self, their true self. You want to make that apparent, and I understand if you don't want to post on social media, that's totally valid. But I'm saying if you make yourself known on the internet, just be who you truly are. If that makes sense. I don't know, that sounds corny. Oh, just be yourself. But dude, who cares? Who cares? If you say something that doesn't sound so super PC, but you go with it anyway, I guarantee you some people will actually agree with you. And you don't want to do it in a contrarian way. unless that's what you're going for. But just say how it is. All right, just talk to people how it is. Like, make the point apparent how it is, and go with it. Oh, you're talking to the girl, just say how it is. Hey, I like you. I like your style, or I think you're pretty. Let's go out. Or you're in a business. You're on a business call. Say, hey, this is what my program is about. Let's get it started. Those kind of things. Like, you don't have to stumble around the bush, if that makes, like, brush around the bush. I don't know if I got that right, but whatever. Again, it's almost like you see people trying to be perfect or make themselves look perfect from the outside, and then you know them personally, and then they say different things that they wouldn't otherwise online, right? And that's a conflict there. I don't think that's good. I think people should show who they really are across social media, and maybe if you're trying to get a good looking post, then do that. I don't really care. But if you're making value-based content like this, long-term, long format, well, of course, you have to bring out your true self. You have to be who you really are, but also strive to who you want to be. Okay? In other words, don't try to justify your beliefs or your systems to outside influences. Like, try not to, you don't want to explain yourself all the time. Like, I don't try to explain myself all the time, because I value my understanding and my philosophy of life to such a high extent. I'd rather only share that with those who are closest to me. I'd rather share that to those who are most deserving of me and my time, my energy. I don't want to, you don't want to throw pearls before swine, as they say. You don't want to do that. And I think I view the world at such a high degree that I don't see just trying to explain things to people who may or may not pick it up and apply it into their lives. It almost seems like a waste of time. And it sounds asshole-ish. Be like, oh, my opinion is so much better than yours. It's not in that sense. It's almost like you're not ready for this yet. And that's okay. That's okay. But I'm not going to dumb down my knowledge to your level for you to manipulate it in some way that I didn't tell you to. That goes back to the curiosity thing. Is I have a high degree of curiosity for life experiences that a lot of people don't look for, or hidden patterns that people don't necessarily see. That's why I think I hold my opinions close to me, value. But I also share on here with you guys because I know chances of you guys looking at this and saying, hey, I know what this Winston guy is talking about. I like this. I resonate with this a lot. That's what I want. That's why I want to show you guys. That's why I like being out here and talking to you guys. Experiencing nature. Being present. Okay? It's almost meditative in a sense, because I can share my experiences, I can give my opinions, and not give a flying fuck about what people will judge about me. I have that confidence in myself. I have that confidence and the conviction in myself to know why things are the way that they are. And I think the biggest curse of mine has been I try to explain things way too quickly to people. I try to give out so much, and it turns them away, and they can't receive. People are not in a receiving mindset, which is more like feminine, which is strange, but they don't have that aspect to themselves of receiving knowledge, receiving info, receiving wisdom. They don't have that in them, at least not many people. they're always about on the defensive. It's always about, you know, your opinion is worthless. I don't care. But I don't think that's a good idea, because there's so many hidden things that you may not be able to see, but someone does. You need to have that conviction within yourself and humility to say, hey, you know, maybe this guy actually does know what he's talking about. Maybe I do need to humble myself and say, just actually listen to what he has to say. You know, maybe I have to be humble enough and curious enough to sit down and say, hey, maybe this guy actually does have some knowledge that I don't possess, but through enough interaction, enough time, I'll understand what he's saying. I think people should have that mindset. Like, stay curious, and if you're very confident, still be confident in what you know. Be confident in that, but also be equally as curious. Okay, I was actually talking about this to my dad when I drove downstate to see him. But he was also almost cursed with this curse. It's not really a curse, but he's lived so many, he's lived in so many different areas and been in different types of lives that he sees where people's mistakes are going to lead them. Maybe you're eating too much and you're getting fat. Maybe you're addicted to alcohol. Maybe you're addicted to drugs. Maybe you're addicted to whatever. Or it's just breaking you down. It's breaking your relationships. Maybe you're not making the best investments. Maybe you're not in the best relationship. Maybe you don't have a relationship, but you're just choosing the wrong people. Maybe you're dating the wrong men. Maybe you're dating the wrong women. And I was talking to him, and no matter what he's trying to explain people, he's trying to explain how he's going to, like, he sees them, like he sees himself in them, and they still don't listen. They still don't. Because they don't have that curiosity or humility to see him trying to explain to them what they're doing wrong. Say, hey, I'm warning you to not do this. But they don't listen. They don't listen to the wisdom. They're not receptive enough. People need to have a bit more reception to them, like an antenna. You're like an antenna. You should try to receive things more easily, more effectively. But most people's antennas are calcified. Most people's antennas are, they're shut down. They're covered up with some sort of material of the mind to prevent them from receiving knowledge or wisdom or experience, for that matter. So people just can't wrap their heads around it. Sometimes the material of the mind can't wrap around that antenna enough to receive that. And that's a huge problem, because curiosity, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, curiosity of life, to see beauty in the most simple of things, like a cloud. I mean, look at that there. It's amazing. But people don't really realize that. They're always cooped up inside. I mean, just out here, it just got very bright. Beautiful. I mean, look at this. Absolutely stunning. I really do think people should surround themselves with beauty. Beautiful things, beautiful cars, beautiful watches, beautiful jewelry, whatever, beautiful scenery, beautiful people, beautiful souls, beautiful women. People should surround themselves, maybe, like, I was just saying, like, people have Pinterest boards. Pinterest boards are amazing, because it shows you what life could be like if you actually sit down and focus on what to do next. You need to surround yourself with beauty, beautiful thoughts, beautiful gratitude, like appreciation for things. I've actually started journaling a bit just on myself. Just some affirmations, just trying to keep my brain occupied to like have a set mind space to put myself in a state of mind where I'm very appreciative of things. I can notice patterns, the underlying patterns and currents of what God is trying to tell me. I think having that childlike imagination to sit down and think about where you've been, but also where you want to go. I mean, again, I think people should have more awareness of the state that their imagination is, of the state that their curiosity is, the state that core, that old state, that ancient state of childlike wonder. People don't really have that anymore, at least not to the degree that they had when they were 10, 12, 14 years old, right? People don't have that. I mean, think about it. Obviously, people are growing up. They're getting busy. They're worrying about things that obviously matter. But I feel like people have also lost a part of themselves when they do that. People have lost that childlike innocence. They see the world. They see the world in a jaded way. That if you actually spend some time alone away from technology, and I sound like a boomer when I say that, but I mean it in the best way possible. Like, just take a break from some of that stuff and actually walk outside and go live. All right, go camping for a weekend. No phones, no nothing. I mean, I remember in cross country, we didn't have any phones. In cross country camp specifically, we didn't have much technology, and also even when we tried to, we really couldn't because there was like no service like at all. And so we just put our phones down and we just lived. We just talked. We ate. We had fun. We hung out. We sang. We played around. I miss that. Well, you didn't really have much responsibilities, but it's to the point where your curiosity was so high, and your happiness was even higher, because that curiosity, that childlike curiosity to just sit down and just sit down and enjoy being present. I mean, the mere fact that I'm just sitting here and I can, like, I have feeling in myself. People aren't comfortable in their own skin, I think. I think part of fitness is becoming more comfortable in your skin. I think a lot of adults feel uncomfortable in their own skin, or some people are going through self-image issues. People are not comfortable in their own skin like they used to, or if they've never been comfortable in their own skin. I think fitness and health and all that, I think one of the biggest things, part of that is, a big part of fitness is actually feeling comfortable in your own skin. Most people are not comfortable in that state. And I think that kind of shows a lot of problems that are going on. People are having relationship problems because they think they're not worthy enough for the other person. They think they're invalid in some way. They think they want all the success, but they can't quite get it because they don't feel comfortable enough in their own skin to actually, they don't like awkward silences. They hate those moments where you feel like you need to do something, but all you really need to do is nothing. people have become so uncomfortable with just silence, so uncomfortable with awkward conversations, hard and difficult conversations, that they avoid it altogether. They distract themselves. And in my previous video, I was talking about that, but I didn't really want to go into that. It was more action-based. This is more receptive-based. I feel like some people have become so disconnected from their natural personality. Like, if you met me 10, 15 years ago, I wasn't super confident, but I was curious as hell. Like, I loved being outside, and I still do, clearly. But there was a part of me where I was like everything was so fresh in my mind. So fresh in my mind, and the colors were more vibrant, the smells were just filled my nostrils with just, like, it smelled like life. I'd go out, you could smell the dirt, you can smell the rain, you can smell whatever it was. Those times when you're sitting outside and you're just doing your thing and you smell something that you haven't smelled since like early childhood. Does that make sense? I don't know if I explained that well, but you sit out and you smell things that like bring you back years. Like, it's almost a nostalgic feeling. I think a lot of people have those experiences, but it's almost like a distant memory. But it's not. It's actually very close in terms of years. It's actually in recent history, right? Very close, but it seems so far away, but it's not. And my challenge to you is to reignite that curiosity within yourself, to actually sit it out there and almost become a child again. Childlike, I would say. Not childish, but childlike. That childlike wonder. Alright, like the childlike innocence that almost baffles all adults. You can't really get it, but we've been there. We've been children. We've been those small humans. We've been those small humans before. But even in those small bodies, I think there is an even greater spirit. There's an even infinite and untinted, like, what's the word I'm trying to say? Like, not rose-colored glasses, but almost like pure and innocent soul, just in a one small body. But as you grow up, you see horrors, you go through tragedies, you experience heartbreak, you experience addictions or financial stresses, relationship problems, broken down bodies. Your soul almost, you gain experience and wisdom, you almost deteriorate in spirit. You almost deteriorate in your infinite consciousness that you are. And I think more people should really sit down with themselves to try to rewind the clock a bit and actually go back to those moments where life itself was the best drug. Life just existing was the best drug you can ever experience. I think people should really, really do that. Because it takes you back to a time where, again, that childlike innocence was, like, maybe you were a young man and you met a young girl and you two were, maybe you guys were in love or something. That love was pure. It was innocent. It wasn't, you weren't corrupted by all the propaganda and red pill, blue pill, all these pills or men hating women or women hating men kind of shit. It was just you and her. It was just you and her, and that's all that mattered. And it, to this day, that's what still matters. It's just you and her together, all right, in that moment, existing. Because the moment you are in your head all the time, you're up in the clouds. Anytime you're like overthinking stuff, you're not present. You're not fully present. And that strips away your curiosity. That strips away your soul. So what I'm trying to say here is try to go back and rewind the clock a bit and see who you really were back, 10, 15, 20, whatever you were like in like 10 to 15 years old. You're probably going through a lot of changes, right? But you still had that innocence, that purity, that your eyes were fresh to the world that we live in. Your eyes were fresh to the universe. You were fresh in soul. You were fresh in existing, what it feels like to be human. I think a lot of people have lost that. They've lost that presence of actually just being comfortable, being human, and being flawed. People have lost that. But we need to reclaim it. We need to reclaim that childlike wonder of the world, that childlike curiosity. If people can do that, I think we'd be in a much better place. When you're going out, all right, when you're listening to her or him, whoever, try to be as present as possible. All right, because that's just the two of you, and that's just with love. But like, what if I connect with philosophy? Like, each person has their own life philosophy, whether they know it or not, whether they talk about it on YouTube or not, whether they speak about it to others or not. Everyone has that life philosophy. But my question is, what's yours? What's your perspective? What's your opinion? I think we're all mature enough to talk about these things without any judgment. I think people should sit down and actually try to think about what the hell they're doing here. What the hell is all of this? People don't sit down anymore and do that. At least, I'm just saying broadly, but when you're connecting with someone you love, it's just you and them. That's just you and her. That's all that matters. That's what always will matter. Okay? I want you to stay curious, stay whimsical, all right? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. And have a great weekend, all right?